I thank Jesus. That's who my my personal Lord and Savior, and I thank him. I go into deep thanks, and then I actually put a meditation on, so I get centered and balanced in my body and mind, and I do breath work within that meditation, and then after the meditation, I journal, and
Nice.
often it's gratitude, what I'm grateful for. It's and it actually, it's got a lot to do with my day. So I kind of set up my day when I'm writing, and with a lot of thanks, and that really kind of centers me before I even get out of bed. And then once I get out of bed, I go downstairs and I sort of prime myself. Hydration is very, very important, but that's literally how I first start before I get out of bed. But like, I go through a routine. So I don't know if you want me to continue from there.
Well, sure, if you'd like to, just so we can get an idea of like what your day is like.
Sure. So when I go downstairs, I have a machine, and it's actually, it's life changing. It's called a Kangen water machine. I'm just going to be specific because it's the truth. I drink 9.5. So I start my day with hydrogen rich water. And sometimes I'll add fresh lemon, fresh ginger with cayenne pepper. Sometimes I just have water and an MSM for my joints and whatnot. And then I just really hydrate myself well. And then I'll go out the door and I'll walk my dog. And I walk my dog anywhere from 20 minutes to 50 minutes up to an hour. And in that hour, I'm in prayer. I do affirmations. I do more gratitude. So, and if something's coming up, like I feel something, then I talk to God about it, to be honest. And I just give it over to him. And I prime myself through that too. So I'll do a run. I'll maybe do a walk run, or I'll run it depending on my energy level. But that's really, and then I come in and then I'll have a coffee, and I'm usually doing intermittent fasting. So that's how I start my day.
That's a pretty good answer. But what I want to ask you is, we're in a time right now with COVID-19, unprecedented time. Everybody's stressed out. Everything has shifted. Everything is it's unpredictable. It's uncertain. Now, I want to ask you is handling about stress and overworking and mental well-being, because stress is an epidemic. It's a global issue. I think it's worse than the pandemic because it cripples you, right? And there's a lot of people that are going through it globally, from many of the parents to single parents, whoever it may be, even to young kids. And I can give you later on like facts and statistics, so some of the research I've done. But how do you handle some of that stress with you and your family in this unprecedented time?
How do I handle it? I truly believe when you start your day, when your mindset is right from the get-go, that's the best way to start your day. So that whatever comes in, whether it's with my client or with my clients, with my kids, whatever, I'm set to handle that. And I do, I do, there's no question about it. There can be a lot of stress for sure with the kids. Now they're at home, they're all at home. They've been with me full time since this all started, and there's a lot of fighting, and like that's my real life. That's the way it is. But I handle it because, and I personally believe, and I have a constant, because I've been on this spiritual journey for so long, I have this conscious contact with God at all times. And I talk to that, and I talk to God, and I ask him for guidance, and I protect my energy, truthfully. I've done a lot of work with Gabrielle Bernstein. I've done her courses, and I've learned how to protect my energy. And that's very, very important in my being able to remain calm and to handle the kids and, you know, I'm firm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
yeah, deep breathing.
Absolutely. I mean, you know,
That's a big one.
that is a big one.
Walking away when I need to, because their, you know, their emotions get out of control, right? That's the
Absolutely.
fact.
And you know, mental well-being is such such a big factor right now. And I have friends and family and from all walks of life, like across Canada and the US, that are, you know, they're having a mental breakdown, right? And it's such a big issue nowadays. That's why, you know, what for parents out there, what is it that you can kind of advise for a lot of the, you know, young families, or depending where they are in their life, what kind of advice you want to share for a lot of these families that are going
My
through?
advice
Yeah,
to any, like to mothers especially, and
yeah,
then dads, you know, that are taking care of young kids. I've done this ever since. I've been very blessed because right from the get-go, from the time my oldest Bianca, she's 22 now, when she was a baby, like I had this in place. I am a recovered addict, to be honest.
okay,
So I recovered before my first child was born, and I had habits, and that the discipline was there then, and I created this ritual, and that's why I help like mothers and, you know, even men. I have male clients, and I stress the importance of doing these, having these daily habits. It makes all the difference. And mindset, and getting rid of any negative, like when things when there's resentments there, you've got to get rid of those resentments. It's very important to have that kind of, like for me, like that pure heart, right? I don't hold any resentments, because when you hold one resentment, like things pile up, and that's when you start reacting. For me, it's like, you know, it's not that I don't ever react, but if I do, I immediately take a step back, because I know that's not, I know I need to do something about that, because I don't want to get in that. I'm honest to God, like I am a mentor. I feel this for my kids. I'm a role model, and I truly every day, and that's in my prayer, to be that for them every single day. So if I don't take care of myself, so mothers, I say you have to take care of yourself. It's like you've heard, like when you get on an airplane, you put those masks, the mother puts the mask on before their kids do. The mother doesn't put the mask on the kids and then the mother. No, the mother takes care of herself, so then she can take care of her kids. That's the way I live my life. I make sure my mindset is set, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then when that happens, everything else falls in place. You know, I got this mask from one of my clients, you know, the mask you have to wear, and it says, and he is a, you know, he's a godly man, and he had the main, God first, rest will follow. And that's the truth. You put God first place in your life, and if you're doing certain things, and they're not easy to do, but you start getting disciplined in doing those, like habits, it will make all the difference in the world. And it doesn't mean that my journey has been, you know, I've hit bottom for sure. So I've learned this through going through immense pain in my life. That's why my habits are so solid, because I've hit rock bottom more than once.
What was the major turning point? Because a lot of addicts, they go back and forth. So what would you say was the major turning point for yourself that you continued on your path into spirituality, into wellness, and that course, instead of going back and falling back into the old patterns?
When I went into the 12 steps, so this is when I was young. I was in my 20s or early 20s. I just started searching. I knew there was something wrong, right? I knew I was an addict. What am I saying? I was addicted to everything. Everything I did, it had to be excess. And I could name multiple addictions. So I went for help. I went into a 12-step program, and someone took me through the 12 steps, and I had a spiritual experience. And from there, see, I had everything at that time material. So I knew here I am. I'm living in this beautiful house. I have this incredible husband, and I felt empty. I felt there was, like, I knew that there was something wrong with me. So I had to seek help. I had no choice, because I seen normal people living around me, and I was living around a lot of perfection, to be honest with you. A lot of these people were beautiful people, outside, inside, and then there was me. I was like this. So God put me in a place where I really, the choice for me was to do something about it. I'd had enough pain in my life, because, you know, my dad was an alcoholic. I was raised in a very dysfunctional home. I mean, I love my parents dearly, and my father's recovered, and my whole family, as a result, has come to God, and it's been a beautiful experience. But yeah, 12 steps. 12 steps changed my life.
That's awesome. So going back to what you're saying is, you know, nowadays, because of with our unprecedented time, so self-care is so important, creating good habits and having a ritual. And I think that's a lot of people, you know, they're lacking nowadays. And a lot of people that are staying home, I see the routine really changes, and even their sleeping habits. So any person who's you're saying is, you know, going through a major transformation has to change a lot of their mindset and their habits. So what you're saying, but self-care is the most important thing, right?
Yes, but I do believe it starts here. Like, your mind has to be, if you focus on negative, and you're going to have negative. I believe, like, I truly believe that. I believe you have to, you know, I read the Word of God, you know, on a daily basis. I recite scripture as a part of my walk. And so for me, there's one scripture in the Bible. It says that the Word of God is like sharper than any two-edged sword. So the Word of God actually, after the 12 steps and after other many hard knocks, I started really getting into the Bible, and that was another turning point in my life. So for me, that really that strengthened me from my core, like do you know what I'm saying?
So do you think that the most important thing, that when you deal with addicts and you counsel them, do you think it's more like the most important thing to break that barrier of the mind is to get in touch with your core, to become solid, to create a routine, and just break down the old patterns, basically is what you're saying? Is there another tip you can give us that you tell your clients in order to help them move forward?
Yeah, so I do tell them about my spirituality, and not most of them are open to it, and I've seen miraculous transformations I have to say this, in my clients that have that higher power and that belief in a power greater themselves. That's where I see the biggest changes, especially mentally. And the ones that continue to work on that and do personal growth. So personal growth is very key. Listening to people like Tony Robbins, Sharma, like getting connected to Lewis Howes and whoever it is. Like I have Ben Greenfield, he's a personal trainer. I'm constantly filling my mind also with people that are, you know, that I can learn from. So that learning is also very key to the way I stay the way I am. But I believe that 100%.
Now, I want to ask you, the question is, I know you've been self-employed, you're an entrepreneur, you've done a lot of self-development. Now, for a lot of the entrepreneurs nowadays, when this 2 months ago, a lot of people have been isolated, and a lot of friends and families that I know that had business had stopped. Now, what I want to know is, what's your insight during this period of time, and at the same time, what do you think of the future of how business is going to be running, right? Because it's completely different now, and it's going to be completely different from whenever we recover. So what are your thoughts? What are your insight regarding, you know, the kind of work that you're doing, and for other entrepreneurs that are going through it right now, that times are uncertain, you just don't know what new ways of ideas that you think that they can use and utilize in this period of time, right, for the future?
I believe they've got to be connected to people that are, especially growing online businesses for sure. So growing your social media. I truly believe in manifesting, like visualizations, like drawing in, like laying out a plan, like what do you want to attract? What are your goals? What would you love to do? Be open to new things, you know, especially through social media, because you can, you know, I see there's so many people that are building businesses now through social media. My daughters, for example, one of them just graduated and she's going to start to build. My second daughter, she's got already said to me today, she's got this product and she said she opened up her Instagram today. She got, like, she visualizes, she has this vision. So it's, I believe it's through technology. That's what I believe you can do it other ways too, for sure. You know, that's where I believe in the power of God. In my life, I've never marketed myself. I've been very blessed.
I was watching Tracey Celotti live on an interview.
I've been very blessed with,
Apparently,
you know, with, there's Teresa. I've been very blessed with a network marketing business that now that she's Isogenics, I do that. So I truly believe in network marketing for sure. It's changed my life. I've been doing it for 14 years. That's definitely a part of I believe in multiple streams of income. Yeah, it's finding your niche.
And how has your business changed from, obviously it's not in person, but have you made a lot of changes, or most of your business was online anyways?
I'm doing more like FaceTime, Zoom, on the phone. Definitely, I am. Yes.
And how do you find it? Do you like it better? It's kind of convenient being at home. You don't have to go anywhere. Do you like it? Do you dislike it?
I get out a lot, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm the kind of person that I need to get out. I'm like,
Same here.
I've got a lot of energy. So for me, like, I get out a lot. That's the truth.
Now, what I want to ask you is, what do you think, what are you learning from this pandemic or this isolation that our whole world is going through? What's your insight and take on this? For what's the lesson that you learn or that you see?
The lesson, I believe, like I believe it's spiritual, and I believe it's like people need to, like, it's all getting back to God, man. It's making, like, family first, God first, then family, spending quality time with your family. It's your values, and that's got to be most important. And when you have things like that in place, God will bless your life. Like, God will truly bless your life when those things are, like, what I really see is that, you know, because I want to be so successful too, right? With, you know, I do. There's no question. I would love to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire. But through all of this, I see, you know what? Really? That doesn't matter. What's most important, and I'm so deeply grateful for, is the time with my kids right now. This is special time. And I'm having time like this, like I've never had. Like, I just appreciate, and I just appreciate things so much more. And I think that's what we have to come down to too. You can't focus on the negative. You have to focus on the positive. Mm-hmm. And you gotta, and you know, part of my effort, I love my life. I said this before, you know, my life hasn't changed that much because I am a spiritual being. Like, I live by that. I'm a spiritual woman. And before this even came about, I felt that blessing on my life. I still feel just as blessed now, if not more, because my kids are with me all the time. I just, you know, is it hard? Yes. But, you know, And you know, my motto, if you do what is easy, your life is going to be hard. If you do what is hard and do get those habits down, you know, put the proper nutrition in your body and exercise, move your body every single day, do that hard thing, your life is going to be easy and you will live a blessed life. Forgive, have peace in your heart.
Now, I just want to kind of like follow up on this question too, because you know, you're out and about with a lot of things that you're doing. Now, for me, I see a lot of family members or families as growing up. You know, I was talking to Catherine about it, or many of you that are listening. Growing up, it's going back to the basics. You know, going back to being with your family, going back to playing out in the, you know, in your yard, bike riding, and I see that in my area. And because we live in a world that's so fast paced, it's fast changing, and that's why I really wanted to ask what was your intake on that, because because nowadays, you know, a lot of people just experience or go through a major insight, a transformation when something tragic happened. That's just for a moment, I see sometimes.
Of course.
But moving forward, I'm pretty sure you saw many different kinds of people in your neighbors that are more mindful and kindful, but because they're in this period of time. But do you think that's going to last for a long time? I'm just curious about it and on your insight, because you know, people are people, right? Like they're nice when they're things happen.
What I don't really see, I don't see that though. I see a lot of people that are scared, to be honest with you. I don't see that really, that kindness that you're talking about. I feel like, you know, I feel like that's where I've got to come in and be the light in people's life, right. Because I see that fear in people. And so I try to bring my joy to people. So when I come across people on my walks or grocery store, I just try to be that light, because I see people walking around like robots. And I see people that aren't considerate, to be honest with you. I don't see I see people going through rough times right now. So that's more of a reason for me just to continue, you know, to try to help in some way. Like it could be a smile. Like it could be, it's just adding that, whatever it is, that joy, a comment, a compliment, whatever that is to people, to let them know that you don't have to be scared. Like I try to lighten things up, you know?
Well, I'm kind of glad that you did mention that. And, you know, I'm so happy that you're very faith-based, that, you know, you believe in God. But, you know, I meet so many different kinds of people, not just online, but what would you say, advice would you give someone who doesn't have strong faith, doesn't believe in anything, and going through major, you know, depression or stress, loneliness, and they feel like the end of the world is coming? Well, as a personal development person, like what would you suggest, or kind of like an advice that you would give them?
So I do have a client that's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God, and he's going through a very difficult time. And I believe I've been put in his life, and this could be anybody. I believe I've been put in his life to show that love, to show him in like kindness and respect. But at the same time, I do have to protect myself in the sense of the moods and whatnot. And I just got to come from a place of compassion. That's what I see. If there's anything I see right now, it's like because I've been in dark places in my life, and I try not to come from judgment at all. And I want people, so if they don't believe, I want them to see somehow God in me, that somehow that by my actions or my words, how I make them feel, that one day, you know, maybe not now, but down the road, they won't forget, like working with me, and they'll realize that you know, there maybe is a God. They don't have to believe now, but I ask God to work through me in those circumstances. When people don't believe, I be that light, that bright light. I shine even brighter.
Good answer.
After this, I think this whole quarantine time has brought us to look within ourselves and maybe see some things that we need to change. Did you have any of those realizations that moving forward, you know, things that didn't work for you or things that you just want to stop doing or anything like that?
I'm constantly open to changing, evolving. I believe we have to do that. We have to continually grow, and that's why I do personal growth. I read books every day, listen to podcasts. But for me, it's my business. Like God has blessed me. Like God has brought incredible people into my life. I am so deeply grateful for my clients, and I bless them every day. And I truly believe when you put that energy out, it comes back to you, because I've never had to worry and I haven't had to make massive changes. But at the same token, I'm very aware that, and I'm working on being open to doing bigger things. Does that answer your question? I am totally open.
What, is there anything else that you haven't accomplished yet that you want to tackle, or another dream or goal that you want to do?
Oh, so much.
The number one goal.
I've just begun. I would like to speak on a more global level, and I would like to definitely, because I want to inspire more people, and I want them to know that, like, to never give up, and that there's always hope, because I've been in the darkness I have been in, and that if I can be this way, anybody can have this if they are willing to go to the lengths. You know, if they want this is available. So I definitely want to do more life coaching on a global level. I'd love to be able to travel while I'm doing that. Just continue with my fitness. Right now I'm doing a handstand challenge.
Oh.
And I love it. So that challenges me. And
Does it go by how many minutes you can stand on your hands, or how does it work?
It's like, so I can do handstands against the wall. I can do headstands, no problem in the middle of a room, but to do handstands in the middle of the room, that's my goal. To be able to do that, like 10, 20 seconds, that's my ultimate goal. So I'm working on that. It's darn hard.
I can imagine. It used to be so easy as kids, and now I don't know what happened.
But I love it. I love challenging myself physically, for sure. I'm constantly doing that.
Well, I saw on your Facebook page that you were a member of SAF, the fitness competition. Did you participate in a fitness competition?
No, I did
not.
No,
okay.
No, that was my sister.
Oh, okay.
That's love, yeah.
Okay.
I'm her fan.
So no, I think that you know, we pretty much like asked some of the questions that we wanted to ask and bring out from you, but also right now we're gonna open the interview to anyone, any of your friends who has any questions. You're more than welcome. And let me just unmute everyone. I'm not sure why it's doing that. If you have any questions for Tracy, you guys, most of you individuals probably know her best, but you know, it's open, so please do so.
I can talk first if that's okay.
Sure.
Hi, Lena.
Hi, Tracy. I don't know any of the other participants in this call, so I don't know how well you know Tracy, but I've gotten to know her pretty well. And I can attest to the fact that everything that she said is indeed true. She is just so incredible and so positive, and everything that she talked about is her. It's the energy. She puts it out there. You feel it. I can feel it now. I feel it through the screen. You're just unbelievable. So more of a comment than a question, but I just wanted to say that you're a true testament of what to live by. Like, your words are so real.
Thank you so much. I miss you so much, Elena. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Hey, Trace, it's Terry. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
This was so great. I can certainly attest to everything that Tracy said too. I met Tracy in 2014 in Dallas, and instantly we struck up a friendship at a conference in Dallas. And you know, the amazing thing about when you meet somebody with pure intent and that truly wants to help people, it's not hard to fall in love with them. You know their desires. You know that their intent is good, and Tracy's always been good. Her intent's always been good. As a mom, you know, as a person that edifies everybody in her circle, she was always the one that would put others first and always would edify everybody else in the room. And, you know, certainly that meant a lot to me, knowing Tracy, but so I just want to say that. But my question is, what are you doing with your kids for keeping them busy at home now?
Good question.
That's a great question. We all want to know that one.
That's a great question, Terry, and thank you so much. Thank you, and I love you. And oh my God, you're an incredible man. That's for sure. Oh my.
Thank you.
So what are they doing? They're well, they finished school not that long ago, like a couple weeks ago. My son is working for his father. So
Great.
he works for his father. But he's also doing he's doing a course online. My oldest daughter, so they all work out. They're all, you know, all of them. Sienna works, every single one of them. They're down in, I have a gym in my basement, so they definitely do that. Sienna actually cleaned my car today. It took her 4 hours to clean my car.
Nice.
She's the perfectionist, or your car was a disaster.
So she helps a lot. She's got online school, so she has to do a lot of schoolwork, but she helps a lot, definitely with cleaning. Vanessa helps me with my social media, and she helps her sister. So my oldest daughter just graduated. I told John and Catherine with a Bachelor of Science and honors in kinesiology.
Oh, good for her. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's
Awesome.
created a program for young women her age. And Vanessa's helping her with that. So, and Vanessa's also doing online stuff as well as helping with my social media. So they're all doing their own thing. They're literally working and they're doing online stuff, but they're, you know, they help me. We have a lot of beautiful family dinners and lots of really interesting discussions, especially about what's going on right now. There's a big debate last night, and yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, it's funny. I saw that beautiful black and white picture of the kids, and I think the last time I saw Sienna, she was like sitting on my knee, almost falling asleep at a conference. It's the last time I saw her, and now she like just looks like, you know, a young woman. It's amazing how fast time goes, but it's interesting to see people that are, especially being a single mom, and being at home with your children, and having that variance in age, right from, you know, Sienna to your oldest, to Bianca. It's like, how do you balance that all, because they all have different needs, and it's so interesting to see that, you know, you're able to do that by encouraging them to work out and to follow their dreams, and you've always been that encourager for sure of following their dreams. So bravo, girl.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
I think I'm going to jump in if no one else is. So hi everyone, my name is Jen. I'm also a really good friend and sister of Tracy's, spiritual sister, I should say. And I can attest to her tenacious spirit to just continue to grow and evolve. And that's always been something that I've admired in her, and her steadiness around it. But life is real for all of us. And I just wanted to ask you, Tracy, like, what keeps you up at night? And and there's a two-part to this question. When something isn't going well optimally, and we may understand that it's sometimes for the best attention for us, for the best outcome, how do you get around that?
So is that in regards to?
So let's break it down. So, you know, if you were going to have a bad night, for example, because you just got too many demands, or there's too much going on in your life, or there's coronavirus, or whatever it may be, because it's different for each and every one of us. I'm just curious, what would keep you up at night?
Honestly, if something's going on that's unsettling here, I do extra self-care, honest to God. I'll have that bubble bath or Epsom salt bath. I'll do extra, like, I just really get connect. I go inside and I do the work. I maybe do some writing. Thank God, you know, I just feel, you know, all of us are healthy. My kids and I, we're all healthy and we're strong. To me, that's such a gift. So I really do. I feel so blessed. Like, no matter what's going on, and it does get heated in discussions and whatnot, but I always look like, almost like the glass half full, you know? Like, I don't ever get down to it. Because to me, there's nothing to get down about. There's nothing to get down about. And I don't hold any grudges or anything. When I've had, you know, things said to me that are, you know, and maybe in the past, I don't know. I just don't hold on to anything. I just forgive quickly. I just bless, I release it. I pray for my kids and for people around me. And I think the importance of letting things go really fast and getting back on the bandwagon really quickly is like key.
I think you hit it. It's how fast you can come back to the path.
Totally.
People fall off from time to time, and that's just part of life because stuff happens. But it's how quickly can one come back?
Yeah. And I you know, I have clients every morning, so I'm blessed that the fact that, so to me, it's like, no, I don't have days off. There are no days off here. When you've got 4 kids, there are no days off. Like, that's why my mindset first thing in the morning is so paramount, because I don't want to infect or be like affect people in a negative way. I want to be that light every single day. I've lived my life like this for years and years and years and years. And the reason, you know, I've worked hard to get where I am. And it's just a part of my daily thing. It's a part of my daily plan every single day.
And I have been witness to that. So I don't know how many of you know Tracy well, but I've known her for the last 10 years, and I've actually witnessed firsthand her growth and evolution. So I just want to say that. So thank you. And you're an inspiration, Tracy. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Jen, thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome, love.
All right. So we have, 15 minutes left. So anybody want to ask any other questions that, you know, we want to squeeze out of Tracy? Any advice that she can give us? That'd be great. It's open. So.
Hey, Tracy, it's Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, beautiful. I just want to say thank you. I have not had such a uplifting, positive experience, and I believe it's because I have lost my focus on what's important. So thank you for circling that around. And just one comment, honey. Sit with the light in your face, not with the behind you, because we can't see you. She's so beautiful, you guys. If you could only see her face.
Oh, so, can't see my face very well?
No. So I've been taking an online acting on film class, and truly I got a lot of instruction on light. Now, I'm not lit up for anything right now, but you always sit with the light in front of you.
Thank you. I'm learning. This is my second interview, so of all
fantastic.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome. You rock, girl.
I actually thought it was God's light coming through.
Maybe it is. Here's my
like, let there be light.
It's that angelic presence there. Tracy, I think, like, it sounds like most of us have known you for a while, and I'm glad to see that you're moving up into a bigger audience and getting out there to be seen. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I just didn't see the yellow box around me, so I thought I wasn't broadcasting. And I think it is kind of a comment, but it's interesting to me the way God took you from an addiction almost to perfection to where now you are able to let things not be perfect. And I think that there at times there's a gift for that, and especially with 4 kids and everything going on, you just have to, you go for the 98% solution. You don't have to have the 100% solution. And I know that in my encounters with you, I'm down in Georgia, so down below the border, and so when Tracy was trying to train me, we were doing it over the computer, and we were trying to get it to work, and it wasn't perfect, but she was able to continue to work with that. And I think that that's a gift you have, is to say, okay, this is as good as we can get right now, and we're gonna make the best out of what we've got. And I just want to schedule a time where I can send my 15-year-old up there. I don't know if the Prime Minister has opened up the border yet, but I need to drop him off for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Good plan. It'd probably be better than a university investment.
Knows it.
Well, welcome, Georgia.
Thank you.
Welcome, Georgia's right, James. Oh, my dog keeps going in and out here. My dog. Oh my God, my kids are, sorry. But see, that's all a part of it. That's all a part of it. I thought tonight, I'm like, oh my God, what if they come in, and what if this and what if that? And I thought, if they come in, they come in. If they fight, they fight. If they swear, they swear.
What do they think about this whole quarantine and Corona, and the younger generation? I'm just curious to know what they feel about it.
You know what? They're just doing a really good job of keeping busy, to be honest with you. They have their own thing. Like, my son's actually a singer, and he's just getting really into his music. They all have their like craft and they're just focused on their craft. And I love that. And if I would say, like, if anyone's having maybe the hardest time, it'd probably be my youngest. But she, I deal with it with her. Like, I try to keep her focused, and I continually refocus her, like keep her, like telling her, like to find that craft, to find, do your schoolwork and excel in areas. Like, I'm constantly guiding her. I feel like, and she's blessed because she has, me, but she has her siblings. She's got great examples. They make her angry and whatnot and this or that, and she is used to getting all my attention. So that was definitely an adjustment now that they're home, right? Because they were in university. I had 3 of them in university.
Wow.
So that was a big adjustment. Do they ask any questions about what's going on, or they're kind of go with the flow, or?
Catherine, honestly, they don't ask questions because I tell them. I tell them straight up what I believe, and they can handle, honestly, they only can handle so much. I know quite a bit, and I do have, for whatever reason, I believe that things are being brought my way. And as John knows, so they can handle so much, and they're open to so much. That's actually what the big debate was last night about, this coronavirus. I don't want to get into it, and Bill Gates and all of that. So they've got a pretty strong opinion, I found out last night. Mm-hmm. So it's I know that I am rubbing off on them for sure. They've got strong characters, and they're handling it very well, I have to say. I think maybe at times the fear comes out through maybe a little bit of aggression, and in my son for sure. But I recognize it. He doesn't even tell me that. I just feel that, but I could be wrong. So I just talk to him like, I'm constantly redirecting, and I accept him. I just accept him and love him no matter what. That's what I do with them. It's just constant love. Love them, love on them, and love some more. And walk away when I need to. I need to protect my energy for sure, but I just give them lots and lots of love. And I think that's the biggest testament for my kids. They need that. I feel that all these kids, they need just love. They need lots of love.
Now, Tracy, how can a lot of these people can get a hold of you, and what are you working on? The next thing while you're at home? Anything that you're working on?
Well, I go in spurts, but I just did a big 90-day with my, the company, I work with Isogenics, so I'm an entrepreneur with Isogenics. So I did a kind of like a 90-day, but I would like to create a course, like some sort of, I don't know whether I'm going to bring in the fitness or just focus on my life coaching. I love to work with people one-on-one in the way of, like I said, like, what I, and I do it, but I'd like to do it on a maybe more personal, maybe not, because I see clients, but more on a, like this, face-to-face on Zoom or whatever. I'd like to do more of that.
I see.
And that's what I'm in the process of trying to figure out.
Any other questions, Catherine, the group?
This is Branko.
Branko?
Hello to everyone.
Hi,
Congratulations.
Branko.
How are you?
I'm
Looks
good.
great.
That's okay. Branko did, my sister and I did a fitness and yoga retreat, and he was one of the people that went.
That's
right?
Awesome.
And that, I think it was life-changing, right, Branko?
That's awesome.
Of course. I was blessed.
That's fantastic.
I'm glad you're here, Branko.
Oh, I think he's on mute.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Good to hear your voice, because I know you're on my friends list too, and I see your picture but never heard your voice, so it's kind of nice to hear that, right?
Okay, thank you.
But got 5 minutes, and any other question, because I do have a question for Tracy before we close off. So anyone? If not, I'll ask that question.
Hey, I'll ask one more question. I always like to ask Trace a question. Okay, Trace, you're a single mom. You got 3 kids back from university, and everybody's on lockdown, right? So no doubt there's, some stresses and kids fight. Let's face it, they have their battles, I'm sure. And you're being very modest probably about how many battles go on. But how do you cope with meals? How do you cope with cooking now all of a sudden with 4 kids? Do you assign jobs where they have to, clean up their dishes or whatever? I know that, you talked about earlier about, self-care is so important, and I'm so in tune with you with putting God first in my life. You and I have had many talks about that for sure. But I mean, all of a sudden you got 3 kids that were sort of independent at university, doing their own thing and throwing clothes around, and their places may not have always been the tightest. I mean, I had Wes and Maddie, and my kids both go through university, so I know what it was like when they came home. How are you dealing with that? And are they pretty good at cleaning up after themselves, or do you assign chores for them? And how do you handle that whole thing now that they're all at home, especially on lockdown?
Mm-hmm.
So my little girl definitely chips in a lot, for sure. We have this thing that, like, the big thing is the kitchen, right? Because they're like the dishes in the sink and what have you. And when it comes to meals, honestly, Terry, I do the shakes. I make the shakes for the kids in the morning. Sure. Vanessa makes her own breakfast. Bianca does intermittent fasting, but I make shakes for Sienna and Matthew.
Yeah.
honestly, I make more of my son's meals. Like, unless we're like last night, in the evening we'll have dinner as a family, right?
Sure.
But last night I had Toastmasters. So I made a big meal and they all ate because I was up here from 7:30 to 9:30.
Sure.
So, and then tonight, like, I did a barbecue and the food was there. So they're down there, and generally, like, you know, the girls get on top of my son. He doesn't like to clean up after himself, to be honest with you, but they friggin' kick his butt.
So you got help when it comes to kicking his butt.
Oh yeah. So if I'm not, they're like, they're on him.
Good. I just wanted to see that it was just normal. Same as what it's been in my home.
Oh, Lord,
because it's one thing about telling them to do something, and it's another thing to get them into action. So
yeah, there's multiple mothers here, Terry.
Oh, good.
Honestly,
good.
They're on him. But you know what? The more they're on him, I got to be honest with you, that he just totally
goes the other way, goes south.
He'll just like leave it even messier. So there you go, guys.
Oh, I'm so glad you're so normal.
Oh man, I'd love to have a camera one day and really.
I know, I hear you.
A reality show for sure. This last month, and how long has it been? Has it been 2 months now? I don't even know.
Yeah, it was, I think, March 15th, I think it started.
Yeah, it's exactly 2 months tomorrow.
It's been 2 months, yeah. I could for sure. It gets quite comical. The dog, I have to say, my dog is everyone's saving grace. Nice. That dog is like a gift from God, and she's laying right here, and she brings so much love into the home. I can't, I don't know. I can't even tell you. It's like it's a miracle from God, this little puppy. That's what I'm grateful for, honestly.
I agree with that. I think every family should grow up with a dog. Nice. I truly believe that. I don't care what kind of dog it is, just something, especially if you have kids, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting. So I'm glad that they have it. And I'm excited to see and happy to see that boys will be boys and girls will be girls in the home. It's cool. It's normal, I guess, right?
Totally. So, yes.
Great.
Now, Tracy, before we log off finish the hour, for all your friends that are on here and some that know you, what final advice that you want to give them so for this period of time, because some of them you probably won't see or talk to in a little while, and everybody's going through some issues, personal, whatever it may be, and everybody's got challenges. What last advice or you want to share with them to just uplift them, right? That there isn't a light at the end of the tunnel, or that you can share with them, or the final thoughts that you have.
My final thoughts is if you oh man, it all comes back honestly to putting God first place. Mm-hmm. That's what I would say. I don't know if anyone's here is like an atheist, or I just say stay open to a higher power, a power greater than yourself, and to cast your cares upon him, because when you do that, your life will shift. There will be a shift, and there will be changes. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I think if you do that first and foremost, and just be willing to do that, just be willing. That'd be my first piece of advice. That's what I would say to everybody. And I would say, enjoy all the time you have right now with whether it's your spouse or kids. Just don't take anyone for granted. Just appreciate everything and just get outside, move your body, and live that life. Enjoy your life. If there's one thing my mentor, when I was going through the 12 steps, there was simple things he would say to me. He would say, you know, Tracy, go ride your bike, or kick the can, or keep it simple, like in the sense of, you know, do what's in front of you. Make your bed. Keep it so simple. It's honestly, you do one thing and ask for guidance. Just ask for guidance, and he will be there. That source will be there to guide you, but you've got to ask for help, and the help will be there. And if you need to ask for, you know, and after that, if you need other help, you know, hire somebody to give you that help. That's what I would say. And I love you all, and I'm so deeply grateful for every single person. You know, John, I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful for you. You know, you've blessed my life. Thank you all. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Tracy, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of my, you know, Catherine, great job. And everyone that registered for this evening, and, you know, God bless you all, and, you know, keep safe, and, you know, there's more to come. And Tracy, you know, we're going to keep in touch, and you're a very inspiring person. That's why I wanted to have you on here. But, you know, a few announcements that we're going to have your sister. She is you know, a nurse. You guys, I'm going to let you know on my group, but we do have a couple of doctors, medical doctors that are going to come on board, and one of them is a real Dr. Strange. But I just want to let you know, he's a friend of mine, but he's going to share about his thoughts on what's happening in the medical field too. But you know, if you like what you hear, let us know. But this is Inspired Minds, and with my co-host with High End Vibes, right? Retreat. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you guys logging in and sharing and questioning. And thank you, Tracy, again. And
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
God bless, girl.
Bye.
Love you, Trace.
Thank you.